Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Oh Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 9th Adhyay of Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. And today we will be reading the 17th verse. And in this Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga, Sri Krishna is telling us about that great Rajavidya, the kingly science, the sovereign science, and the sovereign secret, by which we are going to know much more in depth about the greatness of the Lord, of the greatness of the eternal being. And previous two verses that we read, two shloka that we read, Sri Krishna told us that whichever way devotees worship me, whichever way these jnanis worship me, whether it is the jnana yajna or any other yajna, whether they worship me as in the mode of Advaitic worship or the Vishishtadvaitic worship or the Dvaiti worship, that is Ekatvena, Prathatvena, ya alternatively Vishvato Mukham, whether they worship me as the only entity, as the only Satya, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, either that mode of worshipping the formless God, the Nirakar Nirguna Parabrahman, or they worship me as Pruthatvena. Yes, the Lord is different, devotee is different, the mother is different, the child is different, the master is different, the servant is different. And each of these, the child, the servant, they worship the other entity. So that is the Dvaiti way of worshipping. Or it could be the Vishvato Mukham, the Vishishtadvaitic mode of worship of considering devotee, considering us to be part and parcel of the Almighty, part and parcel of the eternal spirit, part and parcel of the eternal divinity, eternal Lord. So Sri Krishna says, which way, any way you worship, all the worships, they reach me only. And on what basis he said that this is true, that everything that, all the modes of worship, they come to me only. In the 16th shloka he had told us, Aham kratuhu aham yajnaha swadaham aham aushadham mantroham ahame vajyam aham agnihi aham hutam. He says, whichever mode of worship you take any kind of the spirit, the scriptural injunctions, the worshipping as per scriptural injunctions, as per the Vedic rites, the rite itself I am that kratu, I am that Vedic rite, I am that act of sacrifice, I am that sacrificial worship, that mode of worship I am kratu. Even the sacrifice I I am also the yajna. What you are putting in the yajna, that homa, that fire, all that svadha I am, the aushadhi I am, and mantra that you recite, mantra that you chant at the time of offering, even that mantra I am. And even I am the ghee that you are offering to the fire, to the homa. I am that ghee. I am forget about all these things, even the fire to which you are adding all these ingredients, to the fire to which you are giving all these as sacrifice, that fire I am. And agnihi, aham agnihi, aham hutam. Even the oblations that you are offering, whatever you are offering, each and everything is me only. So you worship me in any way. The worship in any mode, it reaches me alone. So that now Sri Krishna has shared with us some secret, and that is part of that Rajaguhya. Now the 17th shloka that we are going to read today, Sri Krishna is telling us further about what the eternal Lord is. Sri Krishna says, pitāham asya jagato mātā dhātā pitāmahaḥ vedyaṁ pavitram oṁkāra sāma yajur. Now Sri Krishna says here, you think of anything in this universe as far as this animate world is concerned. Now animate world comes from father, mother. These two things are required for progeny to proceed further, progeny to propagate further. The father and mother are very much. So Sri Krishna says, pitāham asya jagato. I am the ultimate father of this whole creation, of this universe, of this world. Pitāham asya jagataha mātā dhātā pitāmahaḥ. Not only that, not only the father, I am also the mother. I am also the mother, the father and the mother, because of whose union this progeny comes into effect. So I am that father, I am that mother, I am dhātā and I am pitāmahaḥ. I am dhātā is the dispenser of fruits of actions, the one who gives, the one who is the giver of the fruits of action. So Sri Krishna says, I am father, I am mother, I am the dispenser, I am the giver of the fruits of the action of all these children, and also I am pitāmahaḥ, I am that grandsire, I am the one original life being from whom this entire life force has come up. All these beings have come up. What else do you need to know about me? I am that. Vedyaṁ pavitram oṁkāra. That I am the one to be known. When people study all these things, what are they studying? They are studying to know something. That vedyaṁ, that thing which the people study to know that thing. I am that vedyaṁ. I am that ultimate object of all the knowledge. Vedyaṁ pavitram oṁkāra. I am also the purifier. I am the purifier of all these happenings. I am the ultimate purifier who purifies all the ills. And I am that oṁkāra, the syllable om, that pranava. I am that anahata. So, see now, Sri Krishna is explaining all different things which are represented by Sri Krishna, which are represented by the ultimate Lord. And the list doesn't end only here with the father, mother, with the giver of the fruits of actions, with the grandsire, or with the one which is to be known, and the purifier, oṁkāra. But the list again extends, and then finally Sri Krishna says in this verse that sāma yajur evacha. Even the three Vedas, the Veda, the Sāma Veda, the Yajur Veda, even all those. Now these three Vedas, they are actually kind of, Veda is more of a knowledge oriented. The Rajayo, Sāma Yoga and Yajur Veda, they are more of the ritual oriented. So Sri Krishna says, whether it is knowledge, whether it is ritual oriented, this Yoga Veda or Yajur Veda or Sāma Veda, I am involved in that. Whether it is just the knowledge or the activity oriented. So even the Ruk, Sāma and Yajur are me. Nothing in this world is bereft of me. I am the father of this world. I am the mother. I am the dispenser of the fruits of actions, and the grandfather, the grandsire, the ultimate being from whom all this animate kingdom has further come up. I am the knowable. I am the purifier and the syllable Om. And also I am the Ruk, I am the Sāma, I am the Yajus. So nothing in this world is devoid of Krishna presence. Nothing in this world is bereft of the presence of the eternal God. And therefore, whichever way one worships the Lord, the worship has to reach the Lord. There is no other way. Because Lord is there in each and every being. God being the source of the universe and the beings in it, He is held as the father and the mother and the grandfather also, the grandsire, the great originator of all this bhūta jagata. Each individual is rewarded by the Lord according to his acts, efforts, and therefore He is the dispenser of the fruits of action. He is the one who decides whether this fellow is doing good, give him this. Whether this fellow is doing bad, give him this. He is the decider whether the being deserves liberation, and He is the one who decides whether that being deserves, once again coming back into the cycle of birth and death and birth and death. Knowing Ishvara, everything comes to be known in its perspective, and therefore Lord says, I am the knower, vedyaṁ. I am the one. When people study so many things to know something, that knowing something, that something that they study to know, that's something I am. I am the one to be knower. The elements earth, water, fire and air have the power to purify the things brought in contact with them. And man gets purified as he contacts God. God is therefore the most efficacious purifier. With water we can, remove the dust by washing. Even the air can wipe out some of the dust particles for that matter. Similarly, if we rub with stone something, the earth is a purifier. So all these elements, the Panchamahabhutas, forget the space. Space doesn't need any purification for that matter. But all other four, like fire is a purifier. Of course, we use it for, sterilizing and heating and killing the organisms. So, all the other four Mahabhutas, they have the purifying effect. Now, if these four Mahabhutas created by the Lord have the purifying effect as far as the material purity is concerned, what about the one who has created this Mahabhutas? The ultimate Lord, He is the great purifier. And therefore Sri Krishna says, I am the purifier. And the Rik, Sāma and Yajus deal with the origin, sustenance and the end of Prakriti. Like the Yajur Veda, Sāma Veda and Rig Veda. Rik is the creation. Sāma is the sustenance, preservation, and Yajuhu is the destruction. Now these three aspects of knowledge, they are the contributors to creation, preservation and destruction. So therefore Sri Krishna says, I am in that. I am the Ruk, I am the Sāma, I am the Yajur. And therefore, I am the one who is responsible for the creation, preservation and destruction. In all these acts, I am there. I am there, but I am not held by these. I am there in the creation, I am there in the preservation, I am there in the destruction, but I am not part of it. You remember Sri Krishna's teaching to us earlier. I bring forth all the beings, but I am not part of it. So, no mention here is made of Atharva because it does not come up to the level of the orthodoxy of these three Vedas. These three Vedas, Rig, Sāma and Yajur, they have basically this kind of... Atharva Veda is purely, knowledge oriented, and it gives kind of a code of conduct. So it is not included by Sri Krishna in saying that I am in these. So Sri Krishna has limited himself to saying I am in Sāma, I am in Rig, I am in Sāma, I am in Yajur. He didn't say I am in Atharva also. Of course, he is also everywhere. So, by default, he is part of Atharva, but Sri Krishna doesn't mention it here. Now, languages are all based on the science of sound. In this respect, Vedas may be said to have reached perfection. And all these have come, all the languages, all the Vedas, they are nothing but proliferation from the Om. So therefore Sri Krishna says that I am in that Om also, the Nada, the ultimate sound, through which all this knowledge in the literal form, in the language form, it has come into effect. So he is the originator of all the beings. He is the originator of all the languages and all the knowledge for that matter, because everything has come from that oṁkāra. The sound is God, Nada Brahma. He persists eternally as the syllable Om. The Brahman as such is depicted in that syllable Om. The sound originates as sustains as U, and terminates as So, just like the Rig, Sam and Yajur, the process of creation, preservation, destruction, even the Om connotes this process of preservation, creation, preservation and destruction. These three components of Om which make up the Om, U and Ma. Is the form of creation, U is the form of preservation, and Ma, which makes Om. The Ma forms the destruction. And this is exactly, these are the phases not only of individual beings, these are the phases of the entire creation. Like Sri Krishna says, at the start of the day of Brahman, at the beginning of Kalpa, creation comes into effect. The Maya brings forth this creation, then preserves it, and then towards the end of Kalpa, at the night of Brahman, the whole thing is dissolved and taken back, destruction. So creation is Sāma, Yajur, the preservation is Sāma, and the destruction is Yajur. Similarly, in the Om, creation is preservation is U, and the destruction is Ma. And Sri Krishna says, I am all these things. By the Creator uttering Om, once the universe is projected, maintained and drawn back, the sadhaka who gets fixed in the chanting of Om evolves in Godhood. And therefore Sri Krishna says, whether you worship me in any form, it is going to be Om. Ultimately, it is going to be the Yajur, Sāma, Rig. Ultimately, it is going to be the Pita, Mātā, the dhātā and the pitāmahaḥ. And therefore, Sri Krishna says that I cannot abstain from anything. Sorry. Whichever thing is there in the world, the beings from whom the beings get created. The main originator, I am that. I am the giver of the fruits of actions. I am the one which is to be known. I am the purifier of all the ills. I am that pranava oṁkāra, and I am all this knowledge. I am all this mode of creation, preservation, destruction in the form of ruk, sāma, yajur. Therefore, let us see what Sri Ramakrishna has to say on this particular aspect of Sri Krishna's teaching. Sri Krishna says, I am everything. I am the creator, I am the preserver, I am the father, I am the mother. And now Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Sri Ramakrishna says, Bhagwan, Bhagavatam and Bhaktas. These three are identical. Sri Ramakrishna says, don't make any distinction between the Lord and the devotee and the scripture. The scripture which helps the devotee to know the Lord, to know the knower, the scripture and the worshipper and the student, they are all the same. The reader of the scripture and the knower for which the scripture is to be read, all three are identical. The Bhakta, Bhagavan, Bhagavat. Bhagavat is scripture. So he has given this example of the ruk, sāma, yajur as Bhagavad. Because Bhagavad is the one scripture which tells glories of the Lord. So Sri Ramakrishna says that, like Sri Krishna has said here, that I am the ruk, I am the sāma, I am the yajur, I am the pitāham, I am the mātā, I am the dhātā and the pitāmahaḥ, I am the knower also. Sri Krishna says vedyaṁ. So the divine Lord is the one same as the devotee who is worshipping the divine Lord. The devotee who is studying the scriptures, who is reading the Bhagavata with all the devotion and shraddha and faith to know the Bhagavan. So the Bhakta, the Bhagavat and the Bhagavan, Sri Ramakrishna says, they are all identical. There is no difference between these three. So that was this shloka that Sri Krishna taught us about the oneness of all these things with the eternal Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.